Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I'm your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen Spirit Source and Symphony, we listen and go as guided. We look at the current energies, and they are many. We look at the current energies. We take your comments and questions live. We incorporate it all into the broadcast. And we go as guided. We really look to connect to our soul source connection and your empowerment. That is the purpose of these weekly gatherings, is your soul source connection and your empowerment. So welcome everyone. And as you know, as you're joining throughout the broadcast, please put in the comments, say hello. That lets me know that you're there, where you might be joining from around the globe. And then again, feel free to comment, question, as we go through the entire show. So we have a beautiful theme. Let me start out because today, as you all know, is the second full moon. We've been talking about this in the last shows for the month of August. It is the second full moon. It is a super full moon, and it's known as a blue moon because it is the second full moon in the month. And those are rare. It's rare to have two full moons. It's even more rare to have a super full moon as the second moon in a given month. So very unique, auspicious energies that happen once in a blue moon. Welcome, Alicia. And so I just want to start off with astrologer Pam Youngin from North Point Journal. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to share my screen here for a moment and start off and look at this beautiful, beautiful image by Free Pick that she is using on her site with her post for this week's energies, astrological energies. And she says, 3 significant planetary events occur this week. Sideways spinning Uranus stations retrograde on Monday, the 28th. This month's second full moon, supermoon, blue moon, shines its brightest on Wednesday, August 30th, that's today, and affectionate Venus completes its 6-week retrograde phase as it stations direct this coming Sunday, September 3rd. Staying in balance may be a challenge in these final days of August, with erratic Uranus's influence strong, and the emotionally and psychically sensitive Pisces full moon dominating the night sky. And hidden from view in this week's calendar, but also a major factor in the days ahead, is giant planet Jupiter, which will station retrograde next Monday, Labor Day in the United States, September 4th. So we have these obviously very auspicious, and when planets station retrograde or station direct, the impact is felt a good, week, 10 days-ish before and after. Just like with Mercury retrograde, there is a shadow phase. So when planets are stationing direct or retrograde, there's an amplification. Well, we all know that, full moons on their own amplify. We've got Mercury retrograde, communication, miscommunication. I had a snafu migrating from one system to another. I know better. I'm in the choir. I did it anyways during Mercury retrograde. What happened? It went perfectly fine until the very last thing, and then it just started looping. And unbeknownst to me, it was replicating orders and sending out emails to all of my clients. I mean, 10 and 20 and 30 and 40 emails per person per order. Height of the height of Mercury retrograde, snafus. However, this is an emotional time because it's a growth time. That is what the energies are this week. So let me move into the current energies, and then I'm going to come back to the actual theme. So let's just look at the astrological influences this week. And what the main theme for the astrological influences, aligning with the beyond. And what that means is that we are moving beyond the constructs, the paradigm, the wisdom, the knowledge that we know. We're aligning with the beyond. And that means that it denotes the fact that there is something beyond our current knowing. There's something beyond our current experience. You'll see how all this ties together. We started the month August off with on 8/1, the super sturgeon full moon in Aquarius, 9 degrees. The pinnacle of the Lion's Gate happened at 8/8 on August 8th. Uranus stations retrograde on the 28th. That was on Monday. And here today we have the super blue moon, the full moon, 7 degrees Pisces. All of these alignments, all of these, and let me just go to the Lion's Gate again really quickly, because remember this beautiful, they said we're lining things up to bull strikes, and this had to do with the Lion's Gate, age of Aquarius, and the Lion's Gate, which is the pinnacle, is on 8/8, is this where the Leo sun, the star Sirius, the stars in Orion's belt, which you see on the right of your screen, Earth, they all align. And then here's this in the middle, this image by Madi Sohaili, is this where the sun and the moon, you see this alignment. You see this beauty of illumination, these straight lines. And they've been talking to us about that. This lining things up to bull strikes, moving into alignment with the beyond. So it's about coming into our newness, the new age, this liberation, this freedom, moving beyond where we've been. It's that whole hexagram 6364, which we covered, after completion and before completion. It's this whole, going from chaos to calm to chaos to calm. Well, with that in mind, let's look at then. Now they're saying go to the main energies first. So I'm going to line up the main energies here, just so we have a kind of a precursor of everything before, because the hexagram we're working with today is incredibly beautiful, and it has to do specifically with the date, the number 30. So the month of August, it's an 8, uniting. Next year is an 8. It's all about coming together, uniting. 30 is about clarity, to perceive. 11, the 8 and the 3 become an 11. That's about peace, relax. There's like such a crescendo of chaos. But what we're moving to and the 11, look at the 11, it's a way to, it's a way through. So 11 is about peace, relax. It's like, okay, take a breath, exhale. The year is a 7, 2023 is a 7 year. It's about armies, legions, correct discipline, going as guided, taking the steps in the moment, right where you are, right where we are, to effectuate change, to effectuate the outcome, to be one with it, to be in alignment with it. All of the numbers, 8, 30, 23, 2023, become an 18. And we've had this all quite some time. 18 is about decay, repairing what's spoiled. So it is to address, it is, in order to live right, we have to know what's wrong. We've got to go and repair what's spoiled, the decay of things. And then the 1 and the 8, of course, become 9. It's about small restraint and surrender. It's about not surrendering to outside forces, but simply surrendering to the truth, the way, your soul source knowing connection. So this peace, this culminating of peace, of surrender, because of uniting, and how we're going to do that this week and really ongoing. This week's energies are all about the message, because there's a moment of clarity. There is, hexagram 30 is clarity. And what they said was, so the main theme, let me bring this up, the main thing, there we go, here it is, clarity, the culmination of the many. And I found that really, and just look at the peace and the beauty, that peace, that calm, that kind of, I don't know, it's nourishing, the image of just this ripple into water, and the beauty, that like turquoisey blue, indigo blue. But the point is the culmination of the many. So clarity, the culmination of the many. And I found that really interesting. So of course, you know me, I look it up. What does the unseen mean by the many? And the many means the great majority of people. So this is the culmination of the many, the great majority of people. And this is not just in this lifetime, in this moment. That's not what the unseen means. What they're talking about is from the beginning of time, because we've been on a collective journey. We all play our roles. We all come in, incarnate, discarnate, and we, past lives, reincarnation. There's been a wheel, there's been a continuum. And so they're talking about the culmination of the many, the great majority of people, this arc of destiny. So then it came up as well that, and I'm going to quote, it's Romans 12. I'm going to quote this from a spiritual place and from the purity of the word, not a religious aspect, not an ideology or anything of that nature. So please receive this from the purity of the word, from a spiritual place, a faith place. So let me put my specs on here. It says, so Romans 12, therefore I urge you, brothers, on account of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God, which is your spiritual service of worship. So first and foremost, it's to recognize that our bodies are our divine vessels. How are we treating them? How are we nourishing them? How are we caring for them? And because they are the seat of the soul, it is where the soul resides while we're incarnated on earth as a human. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God, meaning the way, soul source connection. So it's not to be caught up in ego, mind, personality. It is to be in service to the soul, soul source connection, recognizing that our bodies are the vessel that the soul utilizes while we're here. For by the grace given me, I say to every one of you, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought, but think of yourself with sober judgment, according to the measure of faith God has given you, according to the gifts. It is not to place ourselves above others. It is not to think ourselves better than others. The purity of the word simply says, measure by the faith, higher power source God has given you, soul source connection. Just as each of us has one body with many members, head, ears, toes, fingers, limbs, um, sorry, yeah, and not all members have the same function. So in Christ, we who are many are one body, and each member belongs to one another. So in essence, 8 billion people make up the whole body, and we don't all do the same things. We are unique. We're like snowflakes. We are literally that one indelible print. That's what they're talking about, and we come together as a whole. This is where this talks about the many. So it's continuing. We have different gifts according to the grace given us. If one's gift is prophecy, let him use it in the proportion to his faith. If it is serving, let him serve. If it is teaching, let him teach. If it is encouraging, let him encourage. If it is giving, let him give generously. If it is leading, let him lead with diligence. If it is showing mercy, let him do it cheerfully. So there's this beauty about the culmination of the many and how, like in Romans 12, it's talking about how we all come together, eight, uniting, we're coming together. We don't all do the same thing. However, we're meant to do it based on our soul, not our ego, mind, personality, but our soul source connection. That is how we come to, that is how we reach the highest of the highest, the best of the best of us, of each of us, and how then collectively we receive that. And so there's a real beauty in the fact that, and again, this has been time immemorial, right? This has been that we've been searching for this ideal. Well, the ideal becomes the new reality. All of this is in preparation, alignment, preparation, the culmination of the many, the aligning to the beyond. Because the beyond is the ideal is the new reality. It's real. It's not something we're striving for. It's arrived. Now, I'm going to quickly move into the Sabian symbol that goes with, so the full moon, Pisces full moon is at 7 degrees Pisces. This super moon, full moon, blue moon. You can track all that, keep all that straight. Well, the Sabian symbol, and over and over and over again, the Lady Jacqueline and I started Weekly Wisdom and Insights back in November of 2021. And the first show was about the return of the divine feminine, the return of the Great Mother, the Aquarian age, the matriarchal rule. And here on this full moon, this blue moon, the Sabian symbol for 7 degrees, which is we advance at 1 degree, as you all know. So 8 degrees Pisces, a girl blowing a bugle. You're going to see how this goes with item number 2 that the unseen gave me. A call, its keynote is a call to participation in the service of the race as an evolutionary crisis approaches. One could say there's an evolutionary crisis at hand. We're advancing, we're leaving the Piscean era, we're entering, we've arrived in the Aquarian era. And it says, this symbolic picture presents another aspect of the emotional relationship between the individual and the collectivity of human beings. So each member comprising the whole. This is from Dane Rudyard's an astrological mandala with the Sabian symbols. It can also be related to the old feminist movement or the present women's liberation. In traditional symbolism, the woman refers more specifically to the biological and psychic aspect of human life. She is seen primarily as the mother and/or the intuitive or psychic type of person. A new race of human beings may well be slowly unfolding some of its potential of consciousness and fulfillment. So this new race, we're moving beyond. This new race of human beings may well be slowly unfolding some of its potential of consciousness and fulfillment. The individual who envisions this evolutionary development sounds the call. Number 2 from the unseen this week was sounding the alarm bells to the future, to the way. And here, this Sabian symbol, you can't make this up if you tried. I sit down and listen, as you all know. I sit down and listen, and they give me these bullet points. And then I look at different things, and I'm researching for the show to bring it all together. Well, here, the Sabian symbol for this is that the individual who envisions this evolutionary development to see beyond sounds the call. He or she is both seer, herald, and mutant. In that sense, such a human being is both an individual true to their original nature and a dedicated person, dedicated to the future he or she holds in latency, as does a seed in mutation. It's already within us. And so we have a knowing. We're advancing. So just as much as those that are fearing and are trying to go backwards fear the future because they have a knowing that it's gone, the past is gone, so too do the individuals hold a latency, a knowing about how to advance, and they herald, they sound the call, sounding the alarm bells to the future, to the way. At this third stage, the 2 preceding phases blend in a new form of consecration of the individual to the whole. Tomorrow acts through today. It's very powerful. Tomorrow acts through today. It summons humankind to rebirth. And so this is so powerful because that is what it's talking about. This is what we've been building towards. It's not, I say this all the time, it's not airy fairy, it's not make believe. They are literally golden breadcrumbs along the path to show us, to ready us, to align us with this knowing. This, we already know, we're already programmed. The youngest souls are coming in so advanced because they already know they're a part of the future. They're a part of the past. However, their purpose is to stand on the shoulder of giants to advance us forward. Well, it's the same for all of us that came in earlier. We're somewhere in that, that impetus, that force, because we are delivering, we are ushering in, we're sounding the alarms, we're ushering in the Aquarian age, the matriarchal era that will play out for the next 2,000 plus years. And we're right on time. And how brilliant of your souls, how brilliant of your soul to choose to be here at this time, to play your role. And so each of these weekly wisdom and insights shows is about the truth of this, the power of it, the empowerment of it, the readiness of it, and to connect. Because literally, they said, the first thing they said, the unseen said, connecting, aligning to the beyond, surpassing all limits and limitations of the past. So we're going to far exceed where we've been because we've been there, done it. We've done it. We don't need to go back and redo it. We've already done it. So let's advance. Let's move forward. They're sounding the alarms. And item number 3, which came in, and I just love this. It's both. Diana Ross you remade it, um, but the song is "Ain't No Mountain High Enough," and the chorus line of it is "Ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from you." Source, the all that is. There's no river, there's no mountain, there's no valley high enough, wide enough, low enough to keep me from you, to keep this from occurring. And it's number 3, the Trinity. So there's nothing that will keep this or that will prevent this. And you'll see that how this plays out in hexagram 30. There's nothing that's going to keep this from advancing, from happening. It's a fait accompli. It's a done deal. It's just where are you um, in alignment or disalignment, in ease or dis-ease with it. Because historical, it all advances forward. Never in our time did you see anything go backwards. We go forward. So let's move into, I got to put on my specs again, um, because as we did our main theme, I want to go to our mantra, and it's just so beautiful. So our mantra this week is joy, excitement, exultation, pursuant to my soul's wisdom. And they had me carry that over. Last week's mantra was pursuant to my soul's wisdom. And they're saying joy, excitement, exultation, pursuant to my soul's wisdom. Because that is the promise. Look how radiant this, um, the image of this flower, it's a daisy with the white petals and the the brilliant yellow orange center. It's about the joy, the excitement, and the exultation. Are we going through the heartache of the transition, of the chaos? Yes. No mistakes about it. Yes. However, there's an end in sight, and that end in sight is the joy of it, the peace of it, the liberation of it, the freedom of it, the advancement of it. So let me go to number 4. And this was very interesting because again, this week, they had me do 1A, 2B, 3C in numbering, lettering. Well, then we got to 4D. So 4D is in David. And they said, perfection personified in duplicate, triplicate form. The masses, the many. And I was sitting there and I was like, what? Hmm. But then I keyed in on 4D. So often, what you will hear and understand is we have all been operating in quote unquote the 3D. They're talking about 4D. Nikola Tesla, if you go back and research about Nikola Tesla, he said that he would go to the quote to the fourth dimension in his mind. He would go to the fourth dimension with the inventions, the creations, and he would do everything in his mind, quote unquote, in the fourth dimension. And he would perfect it. He never built a prototype of something. He would process it in the fourth dimension until he knew that it was correct. And then he would take from the fourth dimension and bring it into the 3D and construct it, and it worked. Patent after patent after patent. So they're talking about 4D, perfection personified. In duplicate, triplicate form, the masses, the many. And so I went and I looked up, of course, 4D. A dimension in addition to length, breadth, and depth. So 3 aspects, it's 4 aspects. It exceeds it. It's beyond the 3D. Specifically, a coordinate in addition to 3 rectangular coordinates, especially when interpreted as the time coordinate in a space-time continuum. It's also something outside the range of ordinary experience. So 4D, the advance, the ideal becomes the new reality. It's beyond our expectations. It's beyond what we've been accustomed to. Something outside the range of ordinary experience. Perfection personified. So they're, again, an age of Aquarius, we're talking about this golden era, this return to a golden era, going back to where we began, but an octave higher. And so, in all of these ways, they're preparing us for, they're saying the journey ahead, the moment ahead, that moment of triumph, of release, of validation. That's what they're saying. It's like I just keep having this image of where people are just, they're weary and you're just heaving yourself over that final line, like as if you were in a marathon or you were running a marathon or something, and it takes everything you have to just heave yourself over the finish line to get to the other side. Yet get to the other side, you do. You will. Not everyone. They're saying to me, not everyone, but the masses, the many, those that have that latent seed of knowing that they are moving forward. They are going forward. So let's move into hexagram 30, clarity. And I'm going to finish up with number 5, but we're going to go into, because this is such a rich hexagram. And again, the energies right now with the full moon of, Venus is stationing direct, Jupiter is stationing retrograde, Mercury's retrograde, Pluto's retrograde. So there's a lot of rehashing, revisiting, renewing ourselves for something that's beyond, sounding the alarms. So we are moving forward. Make no mistake, it's no matter what it looks like on the world stage, what it should be showing us, what hopefully is being seen. Those that don't have that aren't, contain the seed of the new, but are fighting against it. Those that contain the seed of the new, that are all for it. And the chasm between, that is happening. However, the result is 4D. The result is moving. Clarity, receiving clarity, wisdom, So hexagram 30, clarity, it's action, to perceive. It's hidden influence, critical mass. We had this, I believe, last week, critical mass, this crescendo moment, this critical mass moment, we adjust. Its underlining cause is the abyss, to relinquish the decay, to relinquish the old, to relinquish the abyss. There's some beautiful quotes. This one is one from Carrie Hone, because this is all from Carrie Hone. The hexagrams come from Carrie Hone on cafeausoul.com. And she says, when you can appreciate nature's power to break through all barriers, you will discover that this same power is inside of you. See, the grass doesn't think how to grow. The water, the waterways, the rivers, creek, they don't think. There's no obstacle. Trees, they don't worry about you're crowding me out or they just adapt. They relinquish and they adapt. So when you can appreciate nature's power to break through all barriers, you will discover that this same power is inside of you. There's also this quote from Thomas Brown: life is a pure flame, and we live by an invisible sun within us. And so it is that spark, that eternal flame, that soul source connection, that the unseen. And we live by this invisible sun. It is what we embody. So Li, clarity is known as Li. Li is associated with enlightenment and nurturing the idea of serving clarity of purpose. The judgment says, care of a cow brings good fortune. Should you have the opportunity to care for a cow, you learn about interdependency, a mindset of being docile, serving another, and the voluntary dependence you share with life. It is about being conscientious, consciously aware, consciously in tune. And what do we receive when we let go, when we relinquish? And of course, a cow, docile. It's like, so we learn to slow down. Mercury retrograde, slow down, gear down. So the care of a cow, India, the cow is revered. It takes us back to the age when the sign wasn't in Pisces. The age wasn't Pisces, it was in Taurus. And they venerated the cow, the bull. So this is why this example is given. It's historically given because of our ancestral lineage and the era of the time of the great year. The time was in the sign of Taurus. When the cow, when it stays healthy, you stay healthy. Thus, that which is bright rises twice. Here is a beautiful image for this quote. It's this brilliant sun that just orange, burnt orange, radiating. That which is bright rises twice. It's not just our external sun. This is that internal flame. That is us, the current human. That which burns bright rises twice. We will rise again. We will rise from this Piscean era to the Aquarian era, and we will shine and burn brightly. That is what this is saying. So Lee shows your interdependence with others in relationships and your interdependence with the way. Life is what you make of it. Clarity and inspiration abound when receiving this hexagram, and the greatest place to find this is by stepping out of your routine to observe nature. The plants would tell you the plants would tell you how, by sitting still, you can follow your inner guidance and flower. The river would tell you to go with the flow. Animals might tell you not to make the hunt for nourishment so complicated. Follow your instinct. Use your senses and honor the blessing of your meal. See, it's like, again, when we look all around us, nature, animals, they just know. The indigenous peoples, Native American people, they were so connected to the animals, to the Great Spirit, to Mother Nature. They knew how to go with the flow. They knew how to read the signs because they were so one with their counterparts, their other pieces that comprised the whole. Um, Wherever you look, you will see poetry. Critical mass as the influence has creative vision at its center. The abysmal suggested a time of adjusting your paradigm, but now you must draw from your inner vision and align it with events. See, now they're ringing the bell. Align with your soul source connection. Surrender ego, mind, personality in service to. Because the age, the era, the age of enlightenment, matriarchal, Aquarian, demands it, requires it. It is that era. So we're letting go of the previous era. So we align with its events. When life becomes complicated, you need only look for the inspiration that reminds you to follow that which keeps your inner light burning. What are you passionate about? Be that. A time of great creativity or a quantum leap of insight is emerging. 3D, 4D. A quantum leap. So a time of great creativity and or a quantum leap of insight is emerging. Boom, 3D to 4D, whole new world, whole different experience. Patriarchal to matriarchal, whole different experience. So clarity teaches you that the only signpost you need can be found by aligning your inspiration to the path you walk. Lee, clarity, is the shining light of inspiration that marries your inner and outer world into clarity, into oneness. Dreams of transportation symbols teach us about our motivation. It is our motivation, conscious or unconscious, that drives us through life. The relic from before means your soul. She's speaking to your soul, about your soul. The relic from before birth enters the heart one day. Be as careful as if you were holding a full vessel. Be as gentle as if you were caressing an infant. So this goes back to Romans 12, where the soul enters, this relic from before, enters the heart, and to be gentle with it, to care for your body, care for your vessel, care for your soul. Connect with it. We are not separate from it. It is not extinct. It is not it, and yet it's the aspect of ourselves that we have, kind of put last. The world operates on the mind, on thinking, ego, mind, personality, having forgotten to cherish the wisdom of the soul source connection, to lead with it. And so we're coming back to it. There is some aspect of us that has been unchanging since birth. We need to make it our altar and cling to it. The soul, that eternal flame. Neediness is how we misplace our sense of center. The clinging means resting on something. When the waters of the abysmal flow into the pit, we search for something to cling to. So see this, like this deluge, the deluge, this changing of times. And what happens? People they want to cling to what they know instead of clinging to their soul, to their center, knowing it's okay to advance, knowing that it is perfect and divine timing. It's perfectly timed. They said last week, perfectly crafted, perfectly created, perfectly timed. So it's to cling to that knowing, that internal soul source knowing, not quote unquote what our mind knows, what we see around us. We search for something to cling to. Li is the image of the clinging fire, formless except the essence of fuel that keeps it burning. Source. It's eternal. It's that eternal flame. That relationship, we come in with it, we leave with it. It is what the soul is, what we come in with and what we leave with. It is what is there constantly with us. It is our best friend. It is our true north, our guiding light. And that's what we're to cling to. That's what this is talking about. When the changes are underway, look at the world, when the changes are underway, your only footing is the reference point of the self, soul self. When it too is undergoing transformation, you must find something more meaningful to cling to. So really, that's what I'm saying. So when the mind, ego mind personality is changing, you got to cling to something even more meaningful, which is the soul self. That's what I meant to say. What emerges from any difficult transition is the discovery of that thing which will guide and support you when all else is taken away. See, it's like when all else is taken away, ego, mind, personalities, labels, identities, stories, belongings, when all of that is stripped away, money, status, symbols, when all of that is stripped away, when all of that is taken away, it's the discovery of that thing which will guide and support you. Because the soul is eternal. It's always with you. It is who you are when all the rest is gone. It is what you take with you when you transition. It's what we came in with, it's what we leave with. This is like a light that is always burning in the darkness. Although events out there orchestrate the changes, they merely lead you to cultivate a shift of awareness in here, internally. The master said the cultivation of the self consists in the rectification of the mind, the rectifying of the mind. It is to train the ego mind personality to be in service to the soul, to be healthy. It is in the cultivation and the rectification of the mind. The rectification of the mind usually consists of letting barriers go. See, dropping the labels, the identities, the masks, the stories, all of these, the things I know. It's to let them go, surrender. Small constraint, surrender. To let them go, because they're barriers. They're barriers to what is. They are barriers to where we're going. They make it's letting go of our discomfort. Yes, it's uncomfortable to change and to let go and to transcend and evolve and transform. And yet, the cultivation of the self consists in the rectification of the mind. That which is bright rises twice. See, it's like we continually keep rising when we continually keep letting go, surrendering. Because we're evolving, we're transcending, we're transforming, we're expanding in the most beautiful way when it is at the soul's direction. We get into trouble when it's ego, mind, personality. Even the most difficult circumstances cultivate your inner fire in a way that allows you to shine more brightly out there. So even in the challenges is the opportunity. After the abysmal waters have receded, we often arrive at the suchness existing at every moment. That the all that is. It is what it is. Without the need to look any further, you may discover what is, and stop fighting the very thing that shapes you and reveals your purpose. It's to stop being in opposition to your soul source connection. It's to be one with it. This is our next beautiful quote. Life is like a flowing river. Identify its current to know contentment. It's to be one with. Here in the image is this beautiful body of water, this river, and it's just effortlessly flowing. It's powerful, it's beautiful, it's rich, and it just is. So life is like a flowing river. Identify its current to know contentment. That's really what that quote is saying, the image. It's saying, get into alignment with your soul source connection. It's not your ego. Ego, mind, personality is going to be loud and chattering and fear and blah, 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 all that good stuff. Soul, it's a knowing, it's a deep knowing, a feeling, it's an awareness. It can be an entire knowing, an entire knowing what to do in a flash. And it just permeates, it holds steady, it leads you. It's to find contentment with that, to release the fears and face them. When life is free to move spontaneously, a beautiful harmony can be observed. Obstruction only emerges because you may classify things in terms of good, bad, right, or wrong. But the idea of obstruction is a man-made illusion. Plain and simple. Nature is blind to the idea of obstacles, except in the way that it tears them down. What you may call difficulty is the tearing away of what is blocking your inner light and movement. See, it's to know that it's a man-made construct, these obstacles. It's us fighting against, it's our ego, mind, personality will fighting against the will, divine will, your soul source connection will. That's what's causing the friction, the obstacles, the fear, the anxiety, because we're not trusting the soul because, well, it's unseen. It's not the way we've done it for the past 2,000 plus years. Well, but nonetheless, it's the one we come in with, it's the one we leave with. The unnatural things that we build to obstruct life's forward progress will never be a match for its enormous power to break them down. Even water will immediately break down the molecules of whatever substance comes into contact with it. Clarity, is the expression and attitude and behavior of an openness that allows all things to keep moving forward. See, it's no match. The arc of destiny moves forward. Source, there's no match. So it doesn't matter that we cling and cling to things that are not our soul, our eternal flame. It's no match for that. So Li is the expression and attitude and behavior of an openness that allows all things to keep moving forward. Whether it is removing the outworn or building something new, nature is always productive. This transformative power unleashes inner direction and awakens you to a powerful center that you can cling to. See, it awakens us to, it reminds us, it is demonstrating to us all of this that's happening in the world, this crescendo, this ringing of the bells, this sounding of the alarms, the awakening of these latent, the latent seeds within us, is so that we become aware of what we are to cling to, which is source, eternal flame, soul source connection. The master said, and this is our last quote with our image. The master said, when the mind is like a mirror, it grasps nothing, refuses nothing, receives, but does not keep. So it's saying when the mind is like a mirror, it grasps, it holds on to nothing. It refuses nothing. It simply receives. And remember, they said many shows ago, they said this power, this force of the divine feminine. It's not like genie in the bottle. It is not meant to be contained, restrained. It is to move through us. That's exactly, it receives, but does not keep. Because we know that it's eternal. We know that it's limitless. We don't need to hoard it. We don't need to contain it. We certainly don't own it or control it. So it is this aspect of receive, but do not keep. Allow it to flow through you. Allow it to guide you and move you. This is an important mindset during any difficulty. To approach the gateway, you can use mind as a portal or a prison. Pardon me. So to approach this gateway, this threshold, this moment of change, 3D to 4D, you can approach this moment and you can use your mind as a portal, an opening, a way, or a prison. When you unblock the openings, you can view a world bathed beneath the power of your inner light. There's such power and beauty in this week's. And remember, they bookended this for us from 8:1 to 8:30. And coming up are the eclipses in the month of October, the two eclipses, Pluto going direct end of 2024. So Pluto is in Capricorn, cleaning up, tidying up for this advance. It's all moving forward. And the message, the power of the message, the impetus of the message is to align. They are doing the unseen. They are doing everything in their power to ready us, awaken us to the new, to what to cling to this clarity, this culmination of the many. And remember, it was some shows ago too, clarity, and it was the John Mayer song Gravity. And remember, he spoke about the fact that it was all of these trappings, these human trappings. He wrote the song because he said it's like gravity keeps pulling me down. These, smoke and mirrors, these illusions of grandeur, labels, titles, things, celebrity. And he just wanted to stay in the light. He just wanted to stay steady. He wanted to cling to what was real. And so clarity, his song, the John Mayer song, Gravity. Last but not least was number 5, and it was 5E. And normally, you all would not know this. Normally, I write with capital letters. So it's the A, the B, the C, the D, were all capitals. When I got to 5E, they literally had me do like this small E, and it was like an E. And then I heard we, WHEE, we. And they said, here we go, exclamation point. And we, the definition of we, used to express joy, excitement, exultation. It's our mantra. So this 5E, I'm being dramatic, E, because it was we, here we go. And then I had the image, and we had this before, and I'm bringing it up. Let me just get to it. I'm going to put my specs on so I can, because everything here is too small for me to see. It was this image, the Disney Pixar, the movie Up. They gave me Wall-E. They gave me the Minions. They gave me the Munchkins, the unseen, the unseen, with this we, here we go, WHEE. They gave me all of these. So Disney's Up, Wall-E, Minions, Munchkins from The Wizard of Oz. And they said something, and when you look at all of those, the characters in all of those animated movies, and the Wizard of Oz is not animated, but the Munchkins, they're all small. They said something small, something good that reveals great power, wisdom, altruism. And altruism, the principle and practice of concern for the well-being and or for the happiness of other humans or animals. So what they're saying, this 5E, this we, here we go, this used to express joy, excitement, exultation, is all about something small, something good that reveals great power, wisdom, and altruism. And last but not least, they just said, the way is clear, meaning it's clear to see, clarity, and it's also clear, unobstructed. It will not be, it will not be held back. It will not be obstructed. We will not go backwards. We will go forward in time. And then it was the word, so the way is clear, exclamation point, and then the word culminating. this culmination of the many, and then culminating, building, crescendoing, building, so as to be delivered, arrive. I don't know about you all. I'm just incredibly excited about this. I know that I often say in receiving and listening with the unseen, the one thing that is very challenging to discern is time, because divine time and earth time are two different constructs. Time doesn't exist outside of the construct of earth or 3D. Well, here's this 4D. We're moving beyond, we're aligning with the beyond. So we're moving outside of, and they said this in some shows ago, we're moving outside of time, beyond time. And the 4D definition is when you take these three components, space, time, continuum. It's the fourth element. It's the thing that's outside of the three that have already been measured. So yes, the timing of everything, and yet it's so current and prevalent. So I'm not even gonna, uh, I was not defend, but try to explain. I'm just so excited about all of this time. I hope all of you are as well. Yes, in the current world of world affairs, um, not all of it is, it's chaotic, um, but it's because we are dismantling the decay of this prior era. It is being cleansed, washed away, brought to light so that we know what's wrong, so that we know what's right as we advance. And yet, even with that, there's an awareness, there's from the unseen, there's an awareness that we don't need to get caught up in that. The advance will happen in a way that just renders all of this complete, handled. So can't wait. You can see me smiling inside out. Cannot wait. It is an honor and a joy to be journeying with all of you each and every week. Thank you for your participation, your presence, your comments, your questions, um, and ultimately, your joy, because it is through this, as the Sabian symbol spoke to, it is about the individuals that are showing up, that are listening, that are sounding the alarm, that are aware and awakened and advancing. And that is powerful. And it is a very powerful ripple, no matter what the backdrop looks like. You've come to do your soul's work. You've come to do that. And it's to be celebrated. So look forward to seeing you all next week. New month, new energies as it continues. We're building here. It will be the 9 energy, which we have seen. That is interesting enough. We are ending with today's energy is an 18, which becomes a 9. Next month is a 9, which is about small constraint surrender, and so which is a powerful message about surrender. So, anyways, look forward to seeing you all. Have a beautiful, if you're wherever you are around the globe, have a beautiful holiday weekend. If you happen to be in the United States, it is Labor Day on Monday. And I look forward to seeing you all then. Be well.